Greetings, royal family. Thanks for clicking on the video. I'm back, you're back. And welcome back. So, we're on episode 6 of season 3 of the great value version of Girlfriends. The Chase is the title of this episode. All right, so let's get straight into it. So, the episode opens where it left off. Aaron trying to get it on with Karen, basically. So, he wants to make love to Karen, he says. So he begins kissing her, and then it's on. So how you bad at like making out in a love scene? Like even the acting in that was very bad in my opinion. So you see the scene switching back and forth between Zac and Fatima getting it on, and Aaron and Karen. Yeah, okay, great. Moving along, we see Crazy Gary, right? He's at Andy's place and he's on the phone with somebody. He's in the kitchen and Andy comes out of the room and Andy's questioning him about who he was on the phone with. And this made me giggle. No, Miss Andy, you don't get to question Crazy Gary, honey. You just don't do that. So Andy, she starts getting sassy. Then she realizes that Crazy Gary is doing the same thing when he was with Jasmine and creeping with her. Duh, Andy, duh. Where does Gary work? Did Gary ever say where he worked? And all those charges got dropped, right? Because I'm like, Gary going to work. Where he going to work at? Anyway, moving along. Fatima and Zac. So I feel like this is going to be another storyline that ends up getting ruined, right? By the writer, producer, director, etc. So Zac, he's acting weird, right? Him and Fatima, they just, got it on, in the previous episode. And he's kind of acting weird. And Fatima is calling him out. But Zac is acting like he has no idea what Fatima is talking about with his games. And it's just, I said, it's getting annoying. So Fatima's character, I see, is now coming across as like unsure and unable to express her feelings. And she wasn't introduced to us that way. She was a very assertive. She was strong in her delivery, very confident. She knew exactly what she wanted. And now she's regressing. Epic fail. Epic fail. And I'm not surprised because I think that this is what Tyler Perry ends up doing with these characters in these shows. There's no progress with any of these characters. If you've been watching since season 1, just take a look at the storylines. They're all repeating. Season 2, season 3. It's the same storylines, the same character traits, all of that. This one, still simple since season 1. Simple Sabrina, right? So Jacoby is supposed to be suspended. Remember, the last time Jacoby was in the bank, he cold-cocked Calvin. Calvin spun like a top. It squealed and did a death drop right in the middle of the bank. So Sabrina ended up suspending him. And he's at work. He shows up to work. So Sabrina ends up calling Jacoby into her office and she fires him, right? Zac ends up showing up at the bank. And he opens up an account with $20,000 cash. Now, he wants to invest in that stock that lady was telling him about. Remember the lady that he met at the airport? Now, he's willing to invest all but $100 because he needs $100 to keep the account open out of the $20,000. So Sabrina ends up showing herself, right? She sees him. She stayed in her office, and then she ended up coming out. Hi, Zac. Zac is like, oh, God, out of all of the banks in Atlanta, don't tell me this is your bank. Right. So Zac is feeling regret. He's like, I want to take my money out. Can we reverse this? So Maurice is telling him, like, it's going to take 2 to 3 business days. Basically, Zac doesn't want Sabrina looking into his business and going back and telling Karen. Oh, Zac, I'm not going to do that. This is what Sabrina's trying to act like. Zac is not stupid. He knows that she's going to go back and tell Karen something, or she's going to look into it and start telling one of the sisters. She's probably going to tell Danny. Danny going to tell Karen, slip up and tell Karen. Zac, you should have took your money out. Real talk. Anyway, so Maurice, he ends up telling... what was I going to say? What ended up happening? I'm sorry. Maurice, what did he tell, what's her name? Tells Sabrina. He tells Sabrina, what it is that Zac wanted to do. So they're both wondering, more so Sabrina, where Zac got that money from. And why you all in his business? Maurice is, a little bit shocked because Zac came in there with a flannel shirt and he had a Velcro wallet. So he's wondering, like, where did he get this money from? Sabrina knows that Zac does not have a large amount of finances. So she's wondering as well, where did he get the money from? Why does it matter? Zac, you should have took your money out of the bank. You are going to regret it. Now, switching gears to Andy. I really can't wait for Fatima to get tired of Andy. You know what I'm saying? And kind of put her in her place a little bit. She treats Fatima like she's her friend, but then she also treats her like, like she's better than her. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. So Andy, she calls Fatima into her office, walks to her office, and then tells Fatima, come to my office. And then she tells Fatima that, yeah, you've been avoiding me all day. And she wants to know why. Andy decides that they should talk over lunch. Fatima, she agrees, right? I just feel like Andy thinks that the only issues or problems that exist are her problems. You know what I'm saying? Like, she doesn't care about anybody else's issues, anybody else's problems. She pretends like she does. She wants everybody to coddle her. Everything is all about Andy. She doesn't care about her homegirls or none of that stuff. She's very selfish. And a lot of this mess she got herself into. And I don't feel sorry for her. Anyway, so Sabrina ends up calling Andy. Simple Sabrina, and tells Andy that, she and Karen need to talk. And lunch will be at noon. They're going to be meeting up. Andy, she tries to blow Sabrina off and says, no, I don't like the way Karen's been acting lately. You don't like the way Karen has been acting lately? Why? Because Karen is telling you the truth and not standing by and being used. When you start crying over the BS that you put yourself in, you don't like the way that Karen is acting. Karen is dealing with a whole bunch of issues. Let's go back, shall we? Karen witnessed Aaron's ex-wife, wife, whatever she was at the time, off herself right in front of her in her salon. Has Karen gone to therapy? When was the last time anyone asked if Karen was okay? When was the last time Andy asked if Karen was okay? So we just sweep that trauma under the rug? No, because everybody is too busy up Andy's behind with her issues that she brought on herself. Andy wants to bring Fatima. She says Fatima's her friend. She's one of the girls. Sabrina says, no. So Andy says, okay, fine. Now, Andy has a meeting with the lawyer of I think it is the wife or soon to be ex-wife of the man that she is representing, right? So there's a little back and forth with them. Now, Fatima made it seem like he was so fine in a suit. When I saw this guy, I was like, ew. Anyway, everybody's taste is different. But the little banter between the two of them, right? This reminds me of the dude that was Gary's ex-wife's lawyer. What was his name? Little chocolate lawyer man. I don't remember his name. But he was in cahoots with Jasmine, and he knew Andy, I think, from college or something like that. So this kind of reminds me of that. Whatever happened to him, he just disappeared, huh? So I'm saying to myself, so let me guess, he's going to put the moves on Andy, right? Because everyone says she's so beautiful, right? That's all anybody ever says. None of the other women are referred to as beautiful. Only Andy. I noticed that since season 1. Anywho, so Andy, the guy leaves. She's supposed to be meeting up with him at a different time, this lawyer guy. So Andy enters Fatima's office to let her know, what to do next regarding this new lawyer man and her client. So when Andy told Fatima, she ended up telling Fatima, hey, we're going to have to postpone the lunch. She said, because I'm going to be meeting with the girls. You can see that Fatima felt a little bit hurt. Andy let her know that, hey, you are one of the girls, but and Fatima's like, no, I understand. Now, I can see this causing conflict between Karen and Andy because Andy is seemingly very close with Fatima. And I don't think that Karen likes the idea that Zac is pursuing her and going to be moving on with her, even though there's a whole ton of evidence to support that Fatima did not know who Zac was to Karen, right? Yeah, this is probably gonna this is gonna drive a wedge, I think, possibly drive a wedge between Andy and Karen. And I could see Andy kind of defending Fatima because Fatima is of good use to Andy, right? Anything that Andy needs, hey, can you go get this? Can you go do that? You know, even outside of her job duties, she's useful to Andy. So I can see Andy kind of vouching for Fatima and sticking up for Fatima and even possibly choosing Fatima a little bit over Karen. I know that sounds weird, but she putting Gary before Karen and all of her other friends. So, ooh, Andy is a horrible friend. She is terrible. She's a friend to none of those ladies. She's not. Back to Karen. Speaking of Karen, so she's at her salon, and she's on cloud 9 because she let Pastor Aaron dip in her collection plate. Right now, she's talking to her ghetto receptionist Pam. Ugh, gosh, and she gets a call from Danny, who invites her to lunch to basically settle things with Andy. So what ended up happening next? So, Karen, she agreed. Danny gets off the phone. She's looking for Zac. She walks over to see Zac looking at the market. And Zac ended up basically losing the money that he invested in that stock. No surprise there. So he basically will be cozying up at Fatima's place, I'm pretty sure, more often because now he broke. Anywho, shift gears to Sabrina. So Jacoby, he shows back up to the bank. And he's pissed, okay? Jacoby tells Sabrina, he says to her, the real reason that you fired me is because you want me and I wouldn't sleep with you. And I said, uh-oh, now this is an interesting plot twist, right? I actually got excited within this whole hour. And he basically says that he's going to sue her. He threatened to sue her for sexual harassment. Ooh, sexual harassment. And I said, ooh, and you know what's interesting? He might just have a case because he was at her house. They did go out for drinks. Now, here's the thing. That seems really effed up and twisted. But what if Jacoby really believes that that's the reason why Sabrina fired him? Some people can actually live in their delusion and they hold on to that. So he may think like, but then again, no, because she was rejecting him. He wanted to sleep with her. And she basically put the kibosh on that. But he still could be delusional. Either way, this is going to make for a good storyline. But I guarantee that Tyler Perry's going to screw it up. I guarantee it. So this is something exciting for Sabrina's character. So we shall see how this works out. I'm not getting my hopes up because, again, I know Tyler Perry has a tendency to have somewhat repetitive, well, no, not even somewhat. He has repetitive plots and storylines. And every once in a while, you may get a little excited. And then it's just like, oh, my God, you just totally dropped the ball on that, huh? You didn't care to develop that character or that story, right? So, yeah, that's it. That's all I got. Ain't got no more. So we'll see what happens next week. Fatima's supposed to be going out on a dinner date with the lawyer guy. She's not going to tell Gary. She's going to send Fatima to pick up a dress at her house or at her apartment, and she's going to overhear Gary getting it on. And I guarantee that Andy's probably not going to believe Fatima. She's probably going to call her a liar. She's probably going to say to her, you don't like Gary anyway. Why would he do something like that? And Gary's probably going to try to convince her that Fatima's a liar. So we'll see. I don't have my hopes up, but we shall see what happens in the next episode. All right, Royal Family, I'm signing off. That's all I got. Ain't got no more. And as always, until next time, folks, peace.